Hello, my name is Alexandria Dominguez, and I am going to be presenting my educational research assignment. And the topic that I'm choosing to use is homework. Let's first start with a description of the topic. So, what is homework? Homework is defined as an assignment given to a student to be completed outside the regular class period. Now, when I was looking for definitions to use for homework, I came across this one that I think really fits into what I am describing homework as, because homework basically can mean quite a couple of things, but this definition really narrows it down to what I am talking about in my presentation and best relates to our course as education and through teaching. And this definition is from the Merriam-Webster dictionary, but that is listed in my sources, and we will get to that later. My presented research question is, what are the pros and cons of homework? Now, when I was thinking of what kind of question to use with this topic, I thought of quite a few. I thought of course, why we should not have any homework. Because I recently graduated from public education a year ago, and of course, I did not like homework. I don't think that there is many students who do enjoy homework. And I know especially in high school I was given quite a bit. And there's also the question why we should have homework. But I didn't want to use either of these questions because when it comes down to it, there really are a lot of pros and a lot of cons of homework. And I wanted to, especially through my research of this topic, explore both the pros and cons of this homework and come to my own conclusion without having already, I don't like homework because I had so many of it in high school. I wanted to really research it. And this question will be addressed in the following slides. The pros of homework. I chose 3 pros of homework that I really saw through my research of this topic, of course, in looking at all of the information that I had available to me. The first would be improve student achievement. The second would be opportunity to reinforce learning and help form good study habits. And the third allows the opportunity for the parent to be involved in the student's learning. Now, the pros of homework in depth. How is homework helpful? According to a study done by the Institute of the Study of Labor, it was found that homework, when increased, led to higher GPAs. Now, of course, why is this good? Especially in high school, higher GPAs do lead to better colleges and the better opportunity of getting into the college of choice. And of course, the college you go into that you want for your profession leads to a better job. And second, another study done by the City University of New York found that the students who regularly did homework were typically more motivated and are higher achievers than those who don't complete any homework. And the reason this really stuck out to me was not only because does this relate to homework, but this relates to also in the workforce. Now, when you are an employer, you want an employee who is a high achiever and who wants to work hard. And so the fact that this study came up with students who did homework are more motivated and higher achievers just points to maybe homework really is good, because of course if it is leading to more motivated and higher achievers, which is something you want in any workplace. And third, in addition to this, a Johns Hopkins University study found that when using TIPS, which is teachers involve parents in schoolwork, students earned better grades after 18 weeks. Now, this one I think was also a bit good, because when going back to our other slide, which said this gives the opportunity to involve parents in the child's learning. TIPS really does involve the parent, because how do parents get involved with schoolwork? Well, by homework. And when involving this method, TIPS, the students got better grades after 18 weeks. So 18 weeks after this was first implemented, the students' grades were significantly higher. And the reason this was really good was, well, one, the students are involved in the parents are involved in the students' learning, and the students also obtained higher grades. Now, the cons of homework. I also came up with 3 cons that also did really stick out when I was researching this topic. And the first is too much homework may be harmful to students. 3, there may be a disadvantage for low-income students. Third, there is not much evidence that homework helps younger children. The cons of homework in depth. How is homework not helpful? According to a study by Jeffrey R. Young, 90% of middle school students admitted to copying homework. And the reason this really sticks out is, what is the point of giving homework or making the child do extra work when they are just going to be copying off each other and not retaining any information? Because if students are just going to copy off each other, then that just makes the homework basically useless. And when it is useless, there is no use in implementing the homework. And it just wastes paper and it's a waste of time. And second, another study done by the Hispanic Heritage Foundation concluded that 96.5% of students said they needed internet to finish their homework. And almost half stated there had been times when they couldn't due to lack of internet. And this especially points to the lower income form of students that are in schools that may not be or may not have availability to Wi-Fi at their house. How are they supposed to complete their assignments when they have no Wi-Fi or maybe no laptop to use? And this is, of course, not their fault. They are not doing it because they do not want to. They just do not have the availability to Wi-Fi and to electronics as a higher income student may. And third, in addition to this, students who did not do any homework got about the same score on the National Assessment of Education Progress than those who did do the homework. So again, this kind of points back to the first bullet point. What is the point of having homework if it has no effect? So if the students are getting the same grades as students, if the students who did homework are getting the same grades as students who did not do homework, there really is no point of implementing homework, when of course it has no impact, whether it be good or bad on the students. And of course, when it comes to something that is supposed to help the students, such as homework, when there is no improvement, I would consider it something bad. So, does homework actually help? In my opinion, homework does help. While too much is not good, a decent amount of homework is beneficial not only to the student, but also to the teacher. Because, of course, when a student brings back their homework done and completed, the teacher knows that the student learned all the material. Because, of course, the teacher is not there to help the student when they have their homework. So that, I believe, is a really beneficial part of homework. So while too much, of course, would be a bad thing, I do not think giving students about 3 hours of homework every night is a good thing. A good amount of homework would help the students achieve more. And now I want to talk real quick about homework amount. So if you see to the left side of the screen, I have up a graph from the OECD, which factors in 5 countries and their homework rates. And to the right of the screen, I have some observations that I found from the graph. First, when compared to the four other states, America is in the middle. So the reason with America being in the middle, I think, is really important because that means it is not at the bottom, but it is also not at the top. So it has a pretty good even amount of homework when compared to these four other countries. Second, for America, the average 15-year-old gets about 6 hours of homework a week. So the student getting 6 hours of homework a week when compared to the almost 14 hours from China or the 2.5 from Finland, it really is quite in the middle. And when that comes to America, I think being in the middle is a very good thing because that means we do not have too little, but we also do not have too much. And of course, last, America not being at the top or the bottom when it comes to having homework. Like I said, it is right in the middle when it comes to these 5 countries. And this is really important as due to America being in the middle, it just gives a good even ground, I believe, for our students. Of course, this is on average. So let's say only like 6 hours of homework. I think that is very doable for the week for these 15-year-old students. So America is doing good on the amount of homework. It is not giving too much and is not giving too little, of course, when it's compared to these 5 countries. And here I have listed all my sources that I used. I used a total of 7 sources. And a lot of these are from journals that did do the studies that have all of the information that I did need, and it was very beneficial. It was very beneficial to my information as these statistics and the graphs that I use did help a lot. And I would like to thank you for listening.